AEW has reportedly signed a former WWE superstar. We're going to have to talk about this because I think it's getting a little bit out of hand. Also, we got to talk about Impact Wrestling. We got 2 Impact Wrestling stories, new championship crowned. Also, what's the deal with the forbidden door between WWE and Impact? I'm going to give you guys the details. I'm going to break it down for you. If you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring the bell because I'm bringing you daily videos 7 days a week, keeping you well informed and everything that's happening in pro wrestling, and we got to talk about it. So if you guys didn't know, Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder, has gone to Impact Wrestling. He has carved out this really good heel persona. Not only is it being shown on Impact, but it's being shown pretty much everywhere, GCW and whatnot. But basically, Matt Cardona defeated Jordynne Grace for the Impact Wrestling Digital Media Championship belt, which is another mid-card belt that Impact has been using. Keep in mind they have their streaming platform and whatnot. Look, Impact Wrestling is starting to perform in bigger venues, which means bigger crowds, which, by the way, are selling out. They've brought in Gorillas of Destiny. They brought in Bullet Club. They've brought in big names like Jay White. Outside of Impact Wrestling, they're bringing these people in. And then you have Matt Cardona, who signs with Impact. He brings Chelsea Green. They go to Impact. They're doing this heel persona and whatnot, and Impact is using them in a correct manner. And, of course, people are talking about it. Impact's viewership is going up. Matt Cardona winning this championship. And the way he does it, by the way, if you haven't seen the clip, you guys should watch it. If you haven't seen the episode, I highly recommend you start watching Impact because there's this argument on social media, and more specifically in my comment section, where they say, Impact Wrestling, I can't support them because of what they did in 2010. Guys, it's different ownership. It's a different business now. It's a different show. It's really weird to hate something that you don't actively watch, which is like, I mean, you guys, if you want to pull up the receipts, you can. Back in 2014 and 2015, when I was covering TNA on my old YouTube channel, I would talk about how TNA was garbage because I saw how they were becoming garbage in front of my eyes. Right? So I know out of anybody, like, I can speak for this. I have seen when Impact was really, really good and really, really bad. And right now, since 2018, I have said that they've been really, really good. It's the reason why I buy their pay-per-views. It's the reason why I watch on a weekly basis. But I want to talk more about Impact Wrestling because I don't think it's enough. AEW and WWE is not enough. It's not enough. You got AEW, who has nearly 200 plus people on their roster. You got WWE, who has like 1 million people on their roster. And there's going to be more releases. And there's going to be more people that lose their jobs or can't work at AEW. Because maybe they don't get released, but maybe they're not going to be offered a new contract. Same thing with WWE. WWE is releasing people. For me, I think it is absolutely necessarily important that wrestling industry has a third large company. And Impact Wrestling, they're smart. They're not overspending money on talent. They're bringing in talent that provides value to their show. So Matt Cardona wins this match. Very shitty way, by the way. What a fucking asshole. And then on top of that, what ends up happening here is that Impact has tons of great shows lined up coming up soon. In different venues, again, bigger attendance and stuff like that. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think, first of all, a third place where people could work is fantastic. But I think everybody knows the Access TV deal is not working out for Impact. So how can Impact Wrestling get bigger and better? It comes with support, not blind hate. Matt Cardona beating Jordynne Grace, a lot more people should be talking about it based on what they actually did. But that's up to you guys to decide. We got to talk more about Impact Wrestling. We got to talk about Mickie James. WWE gave Impact Wrestling the footage of Royal Rumble to put on their television program. Keep in mind, Impact Wrestling's ratings have gone up since WWE has even mentioned them. Then we have Mickie James in the Royal Rumble, and then people are asking me in the Discord server. I'm getting messages on Discord or Twitter messages and stuff, and people are saying, hey, what is this plan for WWE and Impact? Are we going to see W. Morrissey? Are we going to see any of these people on Impact? Are we going to see Mike Bailey? Are we going to see Eric Young? Like, are we going to see Eddie Edwards? Moose, right? No, guys, I don't think that's going to happen. WWE clearly had a solution for a problem that they had, which was how can we get more notable names in the Women's Royal Rumble? The price of doing that was mentioning Impact and showcasing Impact. At the end of the day, that's an amazing win for Impact. That's an amazing win for wrestling. Despite whether or not this forbidden door is open long-term or whatnot, that was a big win for pro wrestling because we've never seen anything like that. So WWE gave Impact footage to use. Of course, Impact, being smart, is going to capitalize on it. But people want to know what's the next step for WWE and Impact's relationship. I personally don't think the door is closed. I just don't think they're actively doing anything. Now, granted, there are a ton of people who are unhappy in WWE. Fightful Select dropped the news yesterday that people in WWE are incredibly unhappy. Well, if they are unhappy, that's what you do. You have this open door policy. You let them work in Impact. Get it approved. It's okay. I'm not saying put Finn Balor in Impact. I'm not saying put these big names in Impact. But if somebody's upset and they're a younger guy, younger girl, somebody who's younger, or somebody who is not being used and hasn't been used in years, maybe they need development, whatever it is, send them to Impact. You look good in terms of the internet community. I know you don't really give a shit about that because you're making $1 billion. But my point that I'm making is you don't have to close the door. You can do stuff. Just don't do stuff with Randy Orton. Don't do Edge and AJ, right? But bring in somebody who's maybe less experienced. Maybe somebody who hasn't worked out on the main roster. Let them go to Impact. Let them work Impact shows. Sign off on the booking, on the creative, and say, hey, guys, we'll let you use them. That's what I would do. But as of right now, I don't expect anything. I think the door is still open, but they're not going to be walking through that door. Nonetheless, the reason why I'm talking about this, the reason why it's so important to me that we have a third large company is because of this news. Keith Lee has reportedly signed with AEW. Meltzer dropped it on the Wrestling Observer that this is what was said. We are told that he's been talked about for AEW. If not, he has already agreed to a deal here. If Keith Lee has signed to AEW, cool, whatever. It sucks. I like Keith Lee and I like AEW, but it's whatever. Again, as I said before, AEW has almost like 200 people signed to their roster. They have 2 hours of Dynamite, 1 hour of Rampage, and they have 200 plus people. If I wanted to watch people wrestle on a YouTube show, I would watch the NWA. Sometimes people think my criticism isn't valid. The guy who's been talking about AEW from the beginning, from literally day one, I've been talking about AEW and covering it on my channel. I have seen how much AEW has changed in front of our eyes. And I still think AEW is a good product, which is the funny thing. I think it's a good product. But when I say we need a third large company, it's because there are a lot of people in wrestling today that aren't being used. And I don't care if you say it's not AEW, it is. AEW has talent not being used. WWE has talent not being used. WWE can't put Veer on WWE Raw, but they can put him on WWE Main Event on Hulu. Like, I give a shit to go watch Hulu just to watch Veer. If you want to bring me some new entertainment, you put him on TV. So in wrestling right now, there is a huge problem of a lot of wrestlers not being signed or not being used. Having a third large company makes the most sense. If AEW is bringing in Keith Lee and he debuts and there's no plans for him, people are going to get pissed. They are not going to enjoy this. They want their favorite wrestlers to sign and be used. But it's going to come at the expense of other people not being signed. So ultimately, my recommendation is that hopefully some billionaire comes up to Impact and gives them a shit ton of money so they can sell out 10,000 seats. I don't know. The talent outweighs the promotions. So we need to figure that out because Keith Lee going to AEW should be exciting. I think Keith Lee is amazing. But I'm also worried that Keith Lee going to AEW is just another signing. It's another pop. The roster is getting bloated. Go look at what I was saying in 2019 about WWE signing everybody from the indie scene. History has an odd way of repeating itself, but that's literally what's happening right now. It's just an AEW. So at the end of the day, it's my thoughts, it's my opinions. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'll see you next time.